Buried in the latest declassified Epstein files from the DOJ vault, evidence that Israel masterminded Princess Diana's 1997 assassination to protect their elite blackmail web. Diana wasn't just a threat, she was a ticking bomb. She was set to go public, opposing Israel's crimes against humanity. The exact same move that cost Charlie Kirk his life more than 2 decades later. But she dug deeper. Documents confirm she amassed proof of global elite child exploitation rings, with smoking gun intelligence on the British royals' involvement. She had the dirt on their bloodline horrors, predators shielded by crowns, titles, and Mossad operations. So they erased her, staged a crash in Paris, with blinding flashes and sabotage breaks. Pure ritual slaughter. A veiled execution under an occult bridge, warning off any who challenged the empire. No drunk driver, no tragic mishap. This was a cold-blooded ritual execution, staged under that occult bridge to send a message to anybody who dared threaten the bloodline empire. And when you hear the raw, gut-wrenching truth, straight from her closest confidant, Christine Fitzgerald, you will finally understand why they had to move against her so fast and so brutally. The British monarchy is reeling from its most shocking humiliation in modern history. Former Prince Andrew was arrested on his 66th birthday, which was exactly 666 days after a blood-soaked white horse escaped the royals and galloped through London. In the world of occult symbolism, where 666 is the mark of the beast and white horses carry apocalyptic weight, the alignment is too precise to dismiss. The elite have long favoured occult-linked dates for their darkest rituals. Symbolism is their signature. Enter Annie McCon, ex-MI5 whistleblower, who blew the lid off Princess Diana's 1997 accident. In her book Spies, Lies and Whistleblowers and Public Statements, McCon revealed that Diana was assassinated by intelligence services on behalf of Israel and the global cabal, via a blinding white strobe light flashed in the Paris tunnel to disorient the driver. Why did they take her out? Because Diana, one of the world's most loved public figures, was preparing to expose Israel's crimes against humanity. Sound familiar? Diana wasn't just a loose end. She was a wildfire they couldn't let spread.
The rest of it, and I have to say, my personal opinion, I think, yes, they did intend to at least seriously injure or kill her. And it's not just about the fact that, was she pregnant, wasn't she? We'll never know because they embalmed her against all French law so quickly. And all the other speculative things you see in the press. It's also the fact that it was reported that she was being a great success in the landmine campaign that she was running. Yes. But also, she was about to go into campaigning on the behalf of the Palestinians. Now, you can imagine someone of Princess Diana's profile doing that. They would not have tolerated it. They could not have dealt with that. So I think that's why she was taken out.
The Paris crash, under that infamous bridge on August the 31st, a date loaded with numerological weight, screams ritual sacrifice. Just as there was no footage of Epstein's death, the CCTV in Diana's tunnel just so happened to be switched off at the exact moment of the crash. It was a blood ritual witnessed by the entire world, and royal insiders have long known the truth. As Prince Andrew's ex-girlfriend, Lady Victoria Harvey, explains, Mossad have been blackmailing and controlling the royal family for generations.
I want this guy to stay alive.
But what is the motive
in this case?
What is the motive of the person who, in your view, falsified this photograph?
Oh, well, they were taking down the royal family, weren't they?
Well, who were?
Maybe Israel. Who knows?
Israel? Goodness me, come on. What do you mean, who knows? I mean, you're putting forward all these photographs, you've got no...
This is real.
No, it's not. This is all false.
Okay, all right.
This
well, maybe go back to bed.
Why would Israel be taking down the British royal family?
Tell me that.
Well, you tell us. You're the one who
say that.
This is a fact.
You raised it, that Israel is behind...
Calm down, old man. Look, just
tell me to
chill.
calm down.
So
you're the person...
Why would Israel be trying to concoct a picture to shame the royal family?
I don't know, because...
Well, you just said it.
I'm not talking about those agencies right now. I made that clear. What I have...
You just said it was Israel.
Without talking about that, this is hard facts.
We want to talk about that. What is the genesis of your conspiracy theory?
Just stop. This isn't a conspiracy. Who is behind Jeffrey Epstein? Like, who is that? We don't know exactly who that is. Who put Jeffrey up to this? Who told him to set Prince Andrew up?
Now, the Epstein files have blown the lid off the cover-up. The Epstein-Maxwell network wasn't just a sex trafficking operation. It was a thread, running straight into the heart of an occult elite that has operated in the shadows for centuries. The connections go far deeper and darker than most people realise. Ghislaine Maxwell wasn't some latecomer to this world. As the daughter of Robert Maxwell, a confirmed Mossad asset and media mogul, she was steeped in it from childhood. One chilling detail comes from Epstein survivor Maria Farmer.
Maria Farmer was a young artist working at Epstein's property in 1996 when she says Epstein and his partner, Ghislaine Maxwell, raped her. She says she first went to the NYPD and then to the FBI, but no one took any action at all. The Bureau sat on her claims for a decade.
Farmer recounted to Whitney Webb how Ghislaine boasted about bullying and tormenting Princess Diana as a young woman. Farmer described Maxwell laughing about it, saying, "Look, there, we made her cry. Isn't that funny? We hated Diana." Then there's the monarchy itself. Former Prince Andrew's abuses are horrific, but they pale in comparison to those of his older brother, King Charles. Epstein victims accused Charles of performing occult rituals and slaughtering boys on Epstein's island. Then there are the litany of credible allegations from private boys' schools in the UK against Charles and his closest friends. Is this why Andrew has been chosen as the fall guy? A distraction to shield something much darker. According to Princess Diana's best friend, Christine Fitzgerald, that's exactly what's happening. We're hearing from her soon. She says Diana was shocked and appalled by the paedophilia within the royal family. And Andrew was far from the worst offender. Consider Jimmy Savile, the BBC star, knighted sir, an intimate friend of the royal family. Princess Diana was repulsed by him and couldn't understand why he had free run of the royal estates and was close enough to Prince Charles to serve as an unofficial advisor. He even wrote a PR etiquette guide for the royals with advice for the Queen herself. Let that sink in. A predator who boasted about necrophilic acts in hospital mortuaries and whose rings were set with ice stolen from children, instructing the royals on etiquette. Savile liked victims of any age, gender, dead or alive, his own words, per multiple accounts. And he was Charles's best friend for decades. Here's where it gets really dark. Queen Elizabeth wasn't only covering for the predators, she was involved in the ritual slaughter. During a 1964 visit to Canada's Kamloops residential school area, Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip were linked to the disappearance of Indigenous children. 10 kids vanished after a picnic with the royals and were never seen again.
During the alleged visit, the Queen and Prince Philip took a group of Indigenous children aged 6 to 14 on a picnic excursion where 10 of the children never returned. Coombs was scheduled to appear as the star witness at the International Tribunal into Crimes of Church and State in London, where Queen Elizabeth and Pope Benedict XVI were served summons on charges of complicity in child trafficking, genocide and crimes against humanity, but never made it due to dying shortly before he was to appear in 2011. Coombs died to unknown causes and no autopsy report was ever revealed to the public. A verdict was issued in February 2013 by the ICLCJ, finding the Queen and Prince Philip guilty of involvement in the disappearance of 10 Indigenous children from the Kamloops Indian Residential School in British Columbia in 1964. In 2021, a GPR survey conducted at the Kamloops school site identified the remains of 215 children under the ground, which led many people to believe the royals were involved in some way.
More disturbing echoes appear in other revelations. Former British Prime Minister Edward Heath is documented taking young boys from orphanages on boat trips, only to return without the children. This isn't about isolated perverts, it's a system, protected, intergenerational, and infused with occult elements, where the powerful indulge without consequence, cover for each other, and throw lesser figures like Andrew to the wolves when the heat gets too intense. Christine Fitzgerald says the real question isn't whether these ties exist, it's how deep they go, and who else is still protected. Once you start pulling this thread, the whole tapestry begins to unravel. Diana's best friend blows the whistle after this important word from our sponsor. King Charles isn't William's father, according to Christine Fitzgerald, the healer Diana trusted with secrets she couldn't tell another soul in the years before her tragic death. William's biological father is Lord Jacob Rothschild, who forced himself on Diana during a prearranged assault that the royal family were complicit in organising. The Rothschilds haven't just influenced the British royal family, they've held dominion over it for generations, pulling financial strings that make crowns bow. But bloodline supremacy seals the deal. In the elite's twisted game, it's never just about money, it's lineage.
They all knew. Every single one of us who loved her knew she was marked with death. Weeks before the tunnel, she grabbed my hand so hard, her nails drew blood, and she whispered, "Christine, they're coming for me. They won't let me live." Her eyes, God, those eyes, were already haunted, already grieving her own murder. She saw the noose tightening, but what she told me next, it wasn't just betrayal. It was violation on a level that still makes my stomach heave. She was raped brutally by a man whose bloodline could crush kings. One of those ancient venomous families that treat the Windsors like disposable puppets. He took her by force, ripped her apart physically, spiritually, irreparably. And William, sweet, beautiful William, he's not Charles's son. He's that monster's son. Conceived in terror, born into a lie, the entire palace guarded like a state secret. The rapist is dead now, finally burning wherever monsters go. But his spawn sits one heartbeat away from the throne. And Israel? They positioned their chosen heir. It's all bloodlines. Pure satanic bloodlines. They breed power the way farmers breed cattle. Diana walked into that marriage blind. What she found inside Buckingham Palace's walls broke her. Ritual killings in candlelit basements. Blood pooled over altars, while they chanted names no human should know. Child sacrifice. Tiny bullies vanishing into the estates. Screams swallowed by stone. The deeper she looked, the blacker it got. Charles knew. The Queen knew. She vomited for hours after witnessing her first ceremony. The media said she was bulimic. Not true. For years she couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, couldn't unsee the faces of the lost children staring back from the dark. She tried to stay silent, for the boys, for survival. But the horror kept growing, metastasizing. Finally, she couldn't choke it down anymore. She started collecting proof. Names, dates, photographs, eyewitness accounts. She was going to burn it all down. Expose the royal paedophile cult, the occult machinery, the foreign intelligence tentacles wrapped around it. That's when the machine activated. MI6, Mossad. They didn't just plan a crash. They staged a ritual execution under the Pont de l'Ama, the bridge of the goddess of all places. Blinding lights, tampered brakes, a white Fiat that vanished like smoke. Cold ceremonial murder. They murdered her because she was going to save the children, because she was going to name names, because her light threatened to incinerate their entire shadow empire. The good ones always die young. The purest hearts get ripped out first. The world is colder, darker, emptier without her. I feel her absence every single day, like a hole punched through my chest that never heals. But her truth, it screams through me now. It will scream through anybody who has the courage to listen. They took her body. They'll never take her voice.
It's time to dismantle a 9,000-year-old paedophile ring. A cabal that slithered through history, hiding in plain sight from ancient rituals to modern thrones. They've been mocking their victims for centuries. And now, Hollywood and the media are their weapons. Films, shows and news laced with symbolism that degrades survivors, normalises the horror, and gaslights the world into disbelief. It's all part of the ritual, exposing the horror while daring us to believe it. Let's put this into perspective. Jeffrey Epstein's youngest victim still had his umbilical cord attached. Regardless of your political opinions, we now have enough evidence to prove without doubt that the left and right are ruled by the same psychopathic predators. They feed on fetuses, steal babies, deceive children, and legally kidnap orphans, exploiting them all to their disgusting liking. We're definitely not angry enough. Everything we're dropping here is the kind of material that gets hard drives wiped, servers torched, and people suicided before breakfast. If you're doing your own research and digging into dangerous topics online, you need to be protected.